Good day everyone and welcome to day 356, turn 356 of your daily Civ 7 news update. We have two pieces of news today. I'm just going to freestyle through these ones, got no script. I'll start off with Catherine the Great. Let's get right into it. Watch the video.
Править силой личности, страстью.
Right off the bat, the leader model here is looking probably not as good as the more recent ones we've been seeing that were looking pretty spectacular. This reminds me a bit more of sort of the first ones we saw, like Augustus and that really questionable Himiko model. Doesn't look too bad though. That's a very little crown there as well. I'll keep going.
Born a German princess, Catherine the Great overthrew her husband to become Empress of Russia, modernizing the nation inside and out. Catherine believes that she alone can capture the true soul of the arts, meaning she favors leaders who don't threaten to outshine her.
Sure. No real opinion on these agendas as always. They're just kind of there.
Even if diplomacy isn't exactly a walk in the tundra, Catherine does her best work there. Turns out those frigid
Tundra spawn bias, nothing new there for someone that led Russia. Leader bonus, +2 culture per age on displayed great works. Depending on how, I suppose, culture shakes out, and is 2 culture a lot? Hard to say before you really get your hands on the game. 2 culture in Civ 6, this would have been a pretty great bonus. That would double the great work of writing bonus, for example. Buildings with a great work slot gain +1 additional slot. That also seems really strong. You can see here straight away, it looks like a palace would usually get 1 by the looks of it, although the UI here is really hard to read, which I can only assume the cutoff is here between palace and museum. But anyway, culture bonus. Very good. I love culture. Keep going.
climbs hold a lot of history, granting Catherine big bonuses for collecting great work after great work. And for any labor spent bringing culture to the colder reaches of the world, Catherine gets some extra science bonuses.
I mean, that's pretty strong, considering their previous bonus as well, buffing their culture. Obviously, you're going to have huge synergy with a civilization that also has buffs to their culture. Can't think of any right now, but that seems like a really good conversion rate, considering you just get it for free. Obviously, you do have to settle in Tundra, and I suppose it remains to be seen exactly how bad that will be, how much of a drawback being in Tundra is versus, being on grassland plains. I forget the exact names of the new biomes in Civ 7, but this seems really strong, particularly because you are always going to start in Tundra. So you're getting this right from turn 1 if you pick Catherine. Pretty strong.
As a treat, consider
As a treat.
pairing Catherine the Great with Russia in the modern age to double down on your culture and science gains. Or choose a different path all your own. But whatever you build, remember to build something you believe in.
Build something you believe in. This leader looks really strong. Again, starting in Tundra, you can't pick Russia in, the Antiquity Age, for example. So having to play through the whole of Antiquity and Exploration Age starting in Tundra, that could be really bad. And although this bonus is really strong, 25% science based on your culture, I'm not sure if that's going to justify it. Now, if you were to start in the modern age and kick off with Russia from turn 1, essentially, and we haven't got to Russia's bonuses yet, I don't know what they are, but I'm going to assume they also relate to Tundra. That's going to be really strong. She seems like she would be one of the best leaders for a modern age start. As for starting in the Antiquity era and having to play around the very slow start that usually comes with a Tundra capital, remains to be seen, I guess. You can see here that, At the end of the day, if you start in Tundra, you might only have to move a few tiles up to get there, but having to put the capital, the palace in Tundra, it's always going to be a drawback. We'll move over to Russia now. Actually, we'll confirm. No, that's everything. So we'll move over to Russia. And it's very inconsistent. They sometimes put the video in the page itself on the game guide, and sometimes you gotta go on Reddit to find it. So this one's a short for Russia. Wow, great music, just quietly. That was fantastic. I think this is Hermitage at the end, they're showing off here, only because they showed it in the previous Catherine video. It looks fantastic, although, I'm always going to miss those brick by brick Wonder videos from Civ 6, but it's not bad, the little phases. Obviously, didn't really show much off there, so if we head over to the game guide page, let's have a look. So, Imperial Russia. Some things never change. Moving on, the unique ability, I'm not going to try to pronounce any of these words, increase culture on urban districts in cities, increase science on urban districts in cities on Tundra tiles. So there's your synergy with Tundra. As I said, going to be a very strong Civ on a modern start, but if you can make it through to the modern age and then pick Russia as Catherine, you're golden. You're going to really start to pop off there. And considering, in Civ 7, you're meant to be able to come back from, the first two eras not being as good for you. This definitely seems like it could be a feasible strategy. In previous games, Civs who had bonuses to the early game were always going to be stronger than Civs who had insane bonuses in the late game, just by the nature of snowballing, pardon the Tundra pun. But because of the new age reset mechanic, I could see you pulling it off. Pet peeve here, though, where they just say increase culture and increase science. Please stop. I don't know why this is a thing in modern games where they've simplify these tooltips down. How much culture, how much science. What is it? What is increase? This could be the best ability in the game, or it could be worthless. So maybe this information is somewhere. It's not on the game guide page. Onto their civic trees. Unique improvement. Increase food on farms. Great. I'm not sure how useful food is going to be this late into the game, particularly in towns, but that's something. Increase production on farms in towns or tundra tiles. That's nice. Production's always useful at every stage of the game. Increase production and decreases growth in cities. Again, none of this stuff has values assigned to it, but safe to say that increased production will heavily outweigh the downside of the decreased growth. That's pretty interesting. I guess the strategy here is that even this late in the game, you offset this decreased growth with these unique, increased farm yields. So interesting back and forth here. Always a fan of buildings that have downsides and things you got to play around, so that's good. Table of ranks. Increase gold on urban districts in cities. Unlocks Hermitage. There you go. Gold is nice. Gold is always good in every Civ game. Increase culture on urban districts and cities on Tundra tiles. More Tundra synergy. Increase settlement limit. That's got to be good. And the westernization tradition. Increase science and decrease culture in cities. Another pretty interesting downside here with an upside. So again, no values, but love it. More of this, honestly. I love this sort of stuff. There's that. Your units are immune to damage from blizzards. Enemy units in your territory take increased damage from blizzards. I guess the developers really like these abilities. Japan, Russia, and I'm sure there were others, had very similar effects to this. This is just straight up copied from Civ 6. Very, very niche, unless there's, Blizzard's work somewhat differently in Civ 7. This is a very niche ability. Your units being immune is nice, though, for sure. Enemy units taking increased damage from Blizzards, that's happened probably once. I've played over 1,000 hours of Civ 6. That's actually worked once. And God, does it feel good when it works, but pretty meh bonus, I would say. The tradition here, increased combat strength for units on tundra tiles. So that's going to be defensive most of the time. You're not going to be conquering other tundra cities, I would say. There's been no, as far as I recall, no other civs that have bonuses or biases towards the tundra. So you're probably going to be alone. This is really just for defending your cities. Increased total culture for every city. Increased further if the city centers on a tundra tile. More culture, more tundra. Very good. Infrastructure, unique improvement, ageless, increased food from adjacent farms, more food bonuses, increased culture built on tundra. I'm starting to sound like a broken clock now. Does not remove warehouse bonuses, cannot be built adjacent to another one. Lots of farms, lots of food rather, and lots of culture. This seems pretty good considering you can spam it around. Obviously you can't build it next to each other, but usually civs that do settle in the tundra have a lot of space to themselves because no one else wants to be near them, because their tiles are worthless if you're not the civ that actually benefits from them. So having all this space to chuck down your obshiners, hopefully I don't get delisted for that, that's going to be really strong. This looks really good. Unique civilian unit, none. I don't know if that's the first civ we've seen without a unique civilian unit, but sure. And I can see why. There's 2 unique military units. So the Cossack, unique cavalry, does not replace other cavalry units, has increased combat strength in friendly territory. Another defensive unit, or defensive bonus. Starting to get a pretty clear picture of what Russia wants to do here. Total down in the tundra. Unique artillery unit, increased movement, decreased combat strength, has the splash keyword, dealing a small amount of damage to all enemy units adjacent to the target. Splash is very strong. There's no doubt about that. I think the number they used on the live stream was 20% is how much it splashes. So 20% of the original damage dealt to the target. Hard to say if that's going to be sort of pre or post defense. So if you hit an archer in the middle, is that going to do more damage to everyone else than if you hit a warrior in the middle? Sounds like it will. Would be my gut feeling, but this looks very strong. Again, increased movement's really going to help you to get this to where you need to defend your cities, keeping with the defensive theme. And finally, their wonder, culture base. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to assume that just means it gives a base amount of culture, unless I'm missing what a culture base is. Increased culture in cities that have a great work slotted, must be built on tundra. This is going to be great. This just synergizes well with everything we've seen before. So start next to furs as well. I'm not sure what the synergy is there. I don't know what tile improvement goes on furs. So Russia seems quite strong. If you've built your empire up over the antiquity, and I'm always gonna, I'm not someone that usually does modern starts or any start other than from the ancient era or the antiquity era here. If you've built your empire up and you've been sort of tundra adjacent the whole game, and then you get to the modern age and there's still room to expand down the tundra, this is looking really strong. Pretty much everything synergizes together here in and of itself, which is always the sign of a good civ, I think, when everything works well together. Poland in Civ 6 being a classic case of that not being the situation that they were given. Sorry, Poland. I think Russia is looking incredibly strong for a culture victory. come the modern age. That is my very long-winded first impressions of these two people. Obviously, they synergize very well with each other. I think if you are someone that likes to turtle down and be defensive and try to go for a culture or even a science, there's some science buffs in here, victory, then Russia and Catherine will be very good options. And if you like playing Tundra, and I like playing these Tundra civs like Canada and Russia, it's looking to be good fun. So that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you all tomorrow, but until then, thanks for watching. Also, side note, let me know if you enjoyed the completely unscripted video / commentary more than the regular one where I scripted out. This was, to be honest, a lot easier, and I guess you got more content out of it too, but considerably less concise. So let me know what you think. Also, I've got a cracking video coming up in the next few days. Thanks.